All right, so we should be live.
It says
I
I got a little thing that says we're live on Facebook.
Oh yeah? Let me check too. Yes. Yes. Yay! I did it. And it should be public this time. Not me only. Okay.
Now we have to talk about something interesting.
I know. Now I gotta be on now. So
Yeah.
Hi everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. This is season 2, episode 2 of Shooting the Breeze. And today my guest is Jesse Reynolds. Jesse is a Canadian actor, host, and stand-up comedian who's best known for hosting the morning radio show Jump Mornings with Jesse and Jenna from 2014 to 2018. He also has a podcast with Jenna called Jesse and Jenny,
The tongue twister.
Jesse and Jenna's Messy Podcast, which is active today. Jesse's also a stand-up comedian, and he performs regularly at Yuck Yucks. You all know Yuck Yucks, the internationally legendary comedy chain, and he's known for his biting wit and high-octane delivery. When he's not on stage or working on a film or behind a microphone, he works as a social media influencer for local businesses and represents Saunders Haunted Farm as the face of Fright Fest. We have to talk about that.
Yes, please.
And he enjoys working out, drinking wine, and spending time with his 2 chihuahuas. And welcome, Jesse, to the show. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Simone. I'm thrilled. This is awesome. This has been one hell of a year, and it's we have to jump at any opportunity to get our face in front of people. So hi, happy to be here.
Hi.
And yes, look, it's always Halloween in my apartment. I don't care if it's Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome. Is the whole thing glitter? Is the whole thing sequins, or just the hat and the pumpkin?
Just the hat and the pumpkin. Way to glitter shame me. But I mean, a little glitter's better than nothing.
I thought it was one of those that, if you wipe it. Yeah, those are cool. That's
you wipe
cool
it this way and then it says cunt or something horrible. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's just
it's gold and then cunt on the other side.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not Halloween.
I wish it were.
Me too.
I love Halloween. I like Halloween.
Thank you. No wonder we're friends. Halloween too would be a better idea than the holidays this year. I'm not just saying
or New Year's.
Yeah, Halloween, all you have to buy is a costume and candy for yourself. Hello, why do you have to?
Every day is Halloween.
Yeah. You don't have to see your family. I mean,
yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
No, I like Halloween. So how have you been? We're on the second to last day of 2020. How has your 2020 been up till now?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been shit like the rest of it. What do you want me to say? It's been great. If any asshole ever got on here and was like, I've had a great year. I even saw someone being like, should I write my accomplishments? I've had a lot of business accomplishments this year. I don't know if I should share them. I'm like, nobody wants to hear about your accomplishments. So this year,
especially with so many people who having lost their jobs and things like that,
It's really, and I have to, thank God, I'm okay. I'm surviving. But it's been tough. And for me, you talk about stand-up, the weekend of lockdown, I was going to have my first middling set at Yuck Yucks in Toronto, first of all time, that weekend. So then we got locked down, and I mean, the rest is history. So I've really felt like I was finally on that cusp of breaking to the next level when it comes to stand-up. And then this year just effed me right in the A. And normally I don't mind that, but it was too rough. So it's been really
ready.
At the beginning, I have to say, I welcomed the break because I was really working a lot, thank God. But I was at first like, hey, this forced lockdown might be kind of nice. I feel like we all felt that way. And then it just went on way too long, and it's still going on.
Exactly. Because I know for myself, the first week or two, I've been working from home, so I've been fortunate in that sense.
Yeah.
But I know the first week or two, it felt like now, that week between Christmas and New Year's, where you're just sort of grazing around. It's kind of fun. You don't know what day it is, sort of thing. But then it fell into this weird vortex of, I don't know what day it is and we're going to die. Sort of
so true.
thing.
Yeah.
It was long.
You know who we got to blame for that? Lorenzo Patino, because I saw he had a tweet saying last year during this weird week, he wished that we could have this feeling all year round where you could just live in sweatpants. So he's like, I need to apologize to the world because he wished for this. So F you, Lorenzo.
Oh my God. Because it's funny, like looking at, on Facebook, you get that memories thing that comes up every day.
Yeah.
And like looking at things where it's like, oh, 2020's got to be better than what 2019 was. And it's like, I would pay money to have 2019 back.
Oh yeah.
Like
For sure.
2020 it's just been crazy because like first Australia was on fire and then the US was on the brink of war with North Korea or something. And it was just like, how is this gonna play out? And here we are like 300 days later.
And it was supposed to be a good year. Do you remember the memes going around being like, Halloween's on a Saturday, Christmas is on a Saturday? Yep. This was supposed to be the best year ever. Exactly. Crap.
And it wasn't. I think it was a leap year too this year. It was just supposed to be all these cool things and like, yeah. No. And then murder hornets were supposed to come and kill us in the summer.
Well, thank God those effed off for now. But for now, exactly. For now. And it's been tough with days. There's still 2 days. Yeah, what's going to happen tomorrow? Tomorrow's the day we go. Exactly. Crazy.
Locusts.
Yeah, just I don't know.
I'll stop talking because I want to give the universe any ideas.
I'm trying to think, what would I want to have happen on like the last of the year? It's Raining Men comes to mind, but we don't want that. Then there's just bodies falling from the sky, splatting on the ground. That wouldn't be any better.
No. I wouldn't mind a Chris Evans lookalike showing up at my door. That I could work with that. But yeah, falling from the sky, that might get messy.
I know you think about that. It's Raining Men. Everyone dies over that song. It's like, well, think about that. Would it be so great? I don't know.
Unless they come down in like little pods that they just bounce and they can step out of it instead of like being splattered on the street.
Like Glinda, the good witch, right?
In a bubble. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Man, it's been a year. And you know what? Stand-up has been the hardest, I think, art form to translate to a digital medium, don't you think? Have you been doing these shows?
Yeah, I'm doing one on Friday. I haven't done one recently. I think the last one I did was a few weeks ago, maybe a few weeks to a month ago, but I did a lot during the first lockdown. And it's weird. Like, I'm not going to say that it's just like being in front of people, because it's not. You're in a room by yourself screaming at your computer.
That's right.
Pretty much. But I think like you can still, like, I don't mind it at all. Like, of course I prefer being on stage in front of people, but you can still work jokes out. You can still get some kind of reaction. Like, especially if you're doing it with Zoom and if people have their microphones on and things like that, and you can hear laughter or see, people keep their cameras on and you can see reactions, it could still work.
Yeah.
It could still work.
I agree with you. I have to say I was very resistant to it because what I like about stand-up is the energy. Like, I'm from a theater background, so that live energy is what I like about it, and being able to interact with the audience. So I felt like there's going to be none of that on Zoom. But I have to say, when you start getting the feedback and you realize the audience still enjoys it, and like you said, you can hear the laughs, you start to warm up to it. And by the end, I was like, I won't say I'm loving it, but I would definitely do more of them. I didn't get any the first time, you bitch. You're taking all the work. I only really got these Zoom shows just over the holidays, like the past month or two. I've been doing a lot of corporates, which for me is risky because, I'm not the safest, but they've been going well.
Oh, good.
They're over now.
I haven't done, I did one, I produced one twice over the summer, and I'm thinking I might bring it back. I'm not sure when, but I'm thinking I might bring it back. And I'm doing one on Friday. That's the guy who's running it is out of California.
Oh.
So it's at like 7:00 for them, but it's 10:00 for us.
On January 1st.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, he does it, I think, the first Friday of every month.
Oh, okay.
And he's doing it on the 1st. So that's this week. And I enjoy them. I think they're fun.
Yeah.
I think they're fun. Like once things open back up, like I did them less because if you have the opportunity to do Zoom or live, I'll do live for
That's
sure. But I have fun, and I know like last summer I was encouraging comics to do it. Just like I was like, just try it. Go on, like I'll give you links. Just try it. No, 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 I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm gonna wait. And I know for myself, I didn't want it to be like, oh, I'm on stage. This is my first time performing anywhere in any capacity in 2 years, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to just keep
Going.
keep
Go.
practicing, keep going. Yeah.
And you're smart because I had a long break. Like I guess it was 2 or 3 months before they started to get the hang of even the drive-in shows. So I was lucky enough to be on one of those that Yuck Yucks put on at Wesley Clover Park in Ottawa, and it was huge. And we all kind of thought the same thing as we did about the Zoom shows, where this isn't going to be good. You're not going to have the feedback. I loved it. It is up there with one of the best shows I've ever done.
Oh, really?
It seriously. But I mean, Simone, it turns out I like getting honked at, so I was okay with that part of it.
I went to the first one. I went
Yeah.
to the first one. And
I
it
did.
was fun.
I heard the second one was better, but go on. Okay.
Because I didn't know what to expect. I went with a couple of other comics, and it was very cool. And it was yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but it was good to see people on stage performing,
Yeah.
you know,
And then the audience cared to come
honking.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember it was crazy hot. It was stupid hot. And you can't have the car idling. So I was dying. Like I'm menopausal on a good day. And then it was heat. And we're 4 in the car, and I was just sweating.
Oh,
I was
no.
just dying. Because it's like keep the windows up and you die of heat, or you roll them down and you get eaten alive by mosquitoes. And I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
So,
You go stand outside the car. They're like, down in front, bitch. Yeah. You can't win.
You can't win. Because that's what I think it would have been more comfortable outside of the car, but of course they didn't want us doing that. So
No. Well, because then you're all near each other, and
yeah, we're too close and everything. But it was great. I thought it was great. I thought it was really creative.
Yeah.
You know, and the honking for me was a little unnerving at first. You know, that it was just I've never heard that many horns going off at once. You know, and then Dan Allaire was the host, and he made us do like the honk wave, and that was crazy. That was crazy because you just hear honking in the distance, and then at one point, like I was in the vortex, so it's just honks everywhere, and then it moves on.
Oh, that would have been cool. We didn't do that
cool.
at ours.
It was cool. I know I have it recorded somewhere, but it was just you just hear it in the distance, and then and then it goes on.
You know, between the Zoom shows and the drive-in shows, that is the cool part about this year is the memories that we've had. Like here, look, I'm getting kumbaya right now. But it's true because we're going to remember those two things. And let's say we get this vaccine and everything does go back to normal, please God. Yeah. This is going to be something that we can share with the grandchildren I'll never have because kids are gross. But, you know, it's cool that we got to experience it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, I know I think overall it's helped me a lot just because like I stepped out of I think we all have like trying to adjust, you end up stepping out of your comfort zone, you know, that I ventured outside of Ottawa with, you know, joining groups in different markets and, you know, communicating with, you know, people in the States, people in other parts of Canada, performing for people I've never met before in places I've never been, sort of thing, which was pretty interesting.
You know? Well, and did you have to change any of your material? Because I found,
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna ask a question, then keep talking, Jesse. This is why you're the host. But I have a lot of bits about like going to the grocery store or going to the gym where a lot of that material's around interacting with people and being close together. And it's like, oh crap, you can't go on with this stuff as if it's actually happening, because people will catch on that you're not just thinking of it in the moment, which is a whole other thing, because it blows my mind that people think that's how stand-up works. But anyway, so yeah, I found I had to, some of it was on the fly, because here you're doing a set and you get to that part and you realize, oh, that's not going to work. And you have to change it on the fly. So that was a learning curve for me.
Yeah, like I noticed one show that I did in the States, and I had a joke about forgetting to turn my dating app off in Jamaica, and like it pinging off everything, and like all these hundreds of men trying to contact me, and like the punchline was, you know, they're all eager for a permanent resident card sort of thing. And like speaking to an American audience, they wouldn't know what a permanent resident card
Right.
is.
Yeah.
You know, like they have a different, I think it's a green card or some other name for it. And so I was like, I can't remember if I took out the joke or if I don't remember what I did with it, if I took it out or if I changed it, but I knew that if I changed it to green card, it's not really the same joke, but they would get it. And even listening to some of the, like listening to the other comics perform, some of their jokes went over my head, because it was like specific, say it's like, yeah, it was just very specific to either the United States or very specific to where they live, or, you know, yeah, either their state or their city, that I'm like, I think it's funny because people are laughing, but I didn't get the context of the joke. So at that point, it like that opened my eyes to, oh yeah, you know, it's good to be, I guess, to have like specific jokes, but it's also beneficial to have more, not vague, but more open jokes that people in different parts of the world or different parts of the country will understand.
Evergreen, that's what I call them. Evergreen. It's
Yeah.
a radio term, but evergreen. So it's, yeah, anywhere can we'll get it.
It works anywhere. Yeah. Yeah. With minimal, none to minimal adjustments to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that I learned. So it's, I try and keep that in mind, you know, when I go somewhere different. Not that I've gone many places or that far, but I try to keep that in mind.
Well, not this year anyway.
Not this year at least.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So do you think you're like, since things, because if things were shut down, then they opened up, then they shut down again, then they opened up, and now they're shut down again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think your style or your comedy has changed?
Not really. I think if anything, I've gotten a little more comfortable. How much? What's the word I'm looking for? Like, no, I'm not as nervous, which is crazy because after a lockdown, we're not doing it as often. You'd think that the nerves would build up again. They did the first time with that drive-in show, but back at the club, I don't know whether it's I'm so excited to be back or it's because this idea that the world might be ending. Who gives a crap? But I find I'm not as nervous. And so I'm able to just have more fun on stage. So that's been something I've noticed. And also because one thing that's happened is all of our sets have gotten a lot shorter. So like before I was ready to do middling, like I was saying, so that's 25, 30-minute sets. Now everything's cut down to like 8 minutes, 10 minutes. So it's hard to try to pick and choose your best stuff. But I think what it's allowed me to do is sort of just, oh, well, I'll go up there and see what happens. And you sort of pick and choose from your 25 minutes real time while you're on stage. And that's something I never really did before. I was always very, almost like a monologue, again, theater background. So, you know, yeah, it's allowed me to play a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you with feeling less nervous, because I don't really get nervous, except for the very first time that I performed. I was like nervous like the week before. And a couple of times I might get a little thing in my stomach, but most times I'm just excited to be there and to perform and everything. But I found that well, for me, sets were getting a little bit longer because I was doing like 5-6 minute sets, and then had the chance to do like 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, things like that, which is very cool.
Yeah.
And I found that I would go up and do the whole set of new material, where I would never have done that before, where I would have like sandwiched it in between like established things, that I'd go up and do either all the time is new material or half of it. But I've done that on more than one occasion where it's like, I just want to try these out and see, like, let's see what happens with these, and I would never have done that pre-pandemic.
Good for you. That's something I keep telling myself I was going to do, but I never do. I just tend to default to the stuff I know works. And then afterwards I'll kick myself because I'm like, oh, I should have tried that new bit. But it's tough, right? When shows are fewer and far between, you want them to be good. So you don't want to just throw away your set on a chance. But that's the only way to know if it's going to work. So it's a catch-22.
Exactly. That's exactly. Like, also it depends on the venue. Like, let's say I'm at a place where it's just comics, where it's just us there. I'm more likely to just do all new stuff, versus if they're more audience members in comics, then I might pepper in a few and everything. But it really depends on where I am and everything. But yeah, like you said, unless you try it, unless you put it out there, you don't know if it's going to work. You don't know if because I find that when you can write it out and it's like, oh yeah, I think this is good, I think this will work, and then you say it and you realize, oh, it's too wordy, or it doesn't make sense, it's too formal, or whatever it is, then you at least okay, I need to dial it back a little bit. I have too many details, or I need more details, or something, because you can at least gauge what you need to. Oops, I thought I turned.
Is that a house phone?
No. I have an old-fashioned ring on a modern phone. I can't do the I can't those rings.
Marimba.
So I have the old-fashioned. Yeah, exactly. Or pick up the phone. So I have an old-fashioned ring because I can't handle the modern rings.
I just have it on vibrate.
It vibrates too, but yeah, no, I have an old-fashioned ring. It's called like old-fashioned ring or old bell tone or something like that.
What does it remind you of your childhood, Simone Holder? What do you
Yes, it reminds me of the 80s.
You're dating yourself.
Yeah, no one else will. So
you and me both, sister.
And yeah, and during a pandemic, it doesn't make dating any easier.
No, it doesn't. I'm jealous that you say you get nervous. You were nervous a week before, because I'm the type, like, even when I have really big events, I'm not nervous until like seconds before I'm about to go on stage, and then my heart pounds out of my chest, and it's the worst feeling ever. I've always wished I was the type that got nervous in advance and could deal with it and then put it aside. But does it work like that, or do you still get nervous right before?
Except for that first time, I rarely get nervous anymore. But if I do, it's like right before I go on. Like when I'm waiting for my name to be called, I might be a little like, I forgot my set. Oh my God, I'm not going to remember anything. But
it's then funny,
I panic that, oh my God, I don't remember anything. Yeah. And then I'm okay.
One thing I appreciate about you is I've never seen you bring up a note card to remind yourself of your set. Do you do that?
In the beginning, I had a piece of paper. Ugh, I'd have just a little piece of paper with keywords. But I didn't like that. I know.
If people are going to do that, I feel like they need to hide it. Like Joan Rivers, even like when she was super famous, she would hide like a teleprompter. And I think, or put it on the ground. I think that's smart. I can't stand when they whip out, let me see what I'm going to do next here. I hate it. Kills the illusion for me.
Yeah. But you know what I do though?
What?
I write it on my arm.
Oh, that's smart.
On the inside of my arm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've done it where I've put it on the stage or something, but just it's, so you can keep the magic of the show going. I hate when they break it, like, well, what should I do now?
Yeah. Oh, what now? And yeah, same.
But maybe that's an so I don't know if that's accepted. Like I said, I'm a theater person that tries to do stand-up. I don't by any means claim to be an expert on what's acceptable. I just don't like it.
Because the thing is, I have a hard time memorizing sometimes, and I guess I do. I guess that's how my nerves manifest itself. I feel like I'll forget, even though it's stuff that I say over and over and over. And it's more of a comfort thing, knowing that in case I have a massive brain fart on stage, that I could at least glance at my arm and I could see a keyword and keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so that's what I do, just a few keywords on the inside of my arm. And and I think unless like how I've told you, maybe the next time you see me perform, you're like, oh, she's looking at her arm, sort of thing. But
Yeah.
most time, you're like, stop looking at your arms,
No,
bitch.
but that's fine because you're staying in character, it's the breaking of the character. That's what it is. I
Mm,
don't like when they do that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because the thing is, you with your theater background, you probably feel the same way. Because just like how, reading off the phone or reading off a paper, if someone goes up unprepared, I'm ready to lose my freaking mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
It bothers me so much. It
Unless it's
bothers me
part of
so
their
much.
unless it's part of
Unless
their
it's part of the shtick, yes. Because
like
I've seen
Tamaki.
people, I've seen people pull that off well, but it's rehearsed. They
Yeah.
practice that to make it look, but most of the time it's not. Most of the time
Yeah.
it's you don't know what you're talking about, sort of thing. You don't know what you're about to do, and I don't understand that.
I
That's
know. Oh
that's
my
just me.
God. Speaking of rehearsed, isn't that crazy? How many times, maybe you haven't, but I have had all the time people come up to me and say, how do you think of new stuff each show? And I don't know if we're supposed to be admitting this behind the curtain, because when people tell me that, I kind of freeze. I'm like, I don't know. Should I lie or should I tell them that we don't? It's crazy how many people think that it just comes off the top of your head, which is flattering, but that's not how stand-up
That's
operates.
not how it works. No, because I remember like many, many years ago, going to a comedy club and seeing, I can't even remember the comic's name, and thought he was hilarious. And then like a year or so later, this was in Montreal, saw that he was performing again. And my friend and I were like, oh yeah, let's go, let's go. And it was the same act. And we were like, huh? Sort of thing. But
Uh,
but yeah, so it's I know a lot of people think that there's no preparation to it, that you just get up there and just start talking. And
no.
no.
I mean, some like we're talking in Ottawa, like Tavis Maplesden is amazing at doing stuff on the fly, and he can just sort of
Yeah,
write as he goes. I'm not like that. Again, I keep going back to
me
the theater
neither.
thing, but I need to be prepared. I need to have my monologue. I need to know what I'm going to do, other than crowd work. But that's taken me a couple years to get more comfortable with too.
Yeah, yeah. Because the thing is, like, I can get up there and I hope I make it look like I'm talking off the top of my head, but I've been rehearsing,
Yeah,
listening to it over and over, practicing, so that when I get up there, it looks
yeah.
effortless, I hope. Or yeah, or
And
it
isn't it
looks
amazing?
natural.
It does. You look very natural. Um, except for your age, because I couldn't believe when you told me how old you are, but we don't need to repeat that. Um, but one thing I love, and it doesn't matter how much you rehearse, until you get in front of an audience, you don't know what's going to work and what's not. Because like, I think I know what my funniest jokes are, but what they laugh at is the weirdest things.
It's true. It's true. And I remember my very first thing. Um, they didn't laugh where I thought they would, and they laughed at other things. And I was just like, but just like it throws you off. Or say, you're performing the same set, and they're laughing at point A, F, and G, and then you go to another show and they don't laugh at those parts. They laugh at 1, 2, and 6, and you're like, what's happening?
Yeah. And that's what makes the Zoom shows so hard, because you don't know when to pause, when to wait for laughs, because there's a delay. It's like, ugh, that was
Mhm.
difficult. That was
And
difficult.
it's like, are they gonna laugh? Am I waiting for
Yeah.
nothing? Like,
Yeah.
um, this question just popped into my head. I I I try to record my sets as often as possible. Like whenever I perform, I try to take a video or at
Mhm.
least audio of it. So I always set my camera up somewhere and record. And I did a show in Cornwall in November, and I had the camera set up at a table near other people so I could hear, like, so when I was, editing the video, I could hear people talking and stuff like this. And when I got up and like, so I get introduced, I come up on stage and I hear this guy say, "Oh my God, that black lady's going to be hilarious."
Okay. Okay.
And I'm like, You don't. I've never been here before. How do you know I'm going to be hilarious? And I just find that very strange. Has something like that ever happened to you? Where they
Yes,
just make an assumption?
of course. I mean, stereotypes are alive and well. And you started that story saying you were in Cornwall, so I wasn't sure which direction this was going to go. At least it was
I
a
know it could have gone.
compliment.
So
Yeah.
at least it was positive, exactly. Because
No,
it could have been worse.
it could have been worse. And the interesting thing is, well, Cornwall's not even that out there. We're making fun of it like it's a little village, but I'll tell you, my best shows have ever been in small, like, historically homophobic towns. I kill. But you and I sort of have the same thing where we're minorities in a sense, especially in places like that. So of course the stereotypes follow us. And so, oh yeah, here's a big black lady. She's going to be hilarious. Or the one I get all the time, they find out, oh, he's a gay comic. They're like, I love gay guys because we're all the same, right? We're all David from Schitt's Creek. Ew. So I love that because, and you've seen my set, like I play into that stereotype in a big way, which some of the gays hate me for, but it was what worked for me the best. And I've had the most success doing that. So why not keep going with what's working? So I'm a bad one to judge whether that's good or not because I sort of ask for it, but I definitely understand how some people would maybe be offended to be lumped in that, to be judged even in a positive way before you even see my act.
Because I remember I just found it strange because it was like I was the only minority of any kind in that building. In the building.
Yeah.
Like I was the only woman on the lineup. I was the only person of color on the lineup and in the building. So I think I felt nervous when I got there and I just saw white people and white men and everything, and I was like, what have I done?
Yeah.
What have I done? Sort of thing. But it was fine, and they responded well and everything. But I just know that, the few days later when I was going through the footage, and I heard that guy say that, I was just like, and what's that based on? Like, I just found it weird. I just found it really weird.
Well, it's not, I mean, that's the thing. If you really dig into it, it's probably not the greatest thing because it's based on stereotypes he's seen on TV or made fun of with his friends, LaQuisha with the nails. Like that's what he's thinking of. And that's funny, but maybe that's not you. And so it's just one of those things. Like when I say,
because I'm not the sassy black lady, I'm
you
not
are
the sassy black
sexy.
girl.
What are you talking about?
No, sassy.
Oh, what's that?
Sassy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, girl, ah!
Oh, I didn't know that was
I'm
called
not
sexy.
Sassy, SASSY.
Oh, sassy. I'm thinking like saxophone. Sassy.
Sassy.
Just done this.
Sassy. This is the first time I've ever done that.
I'm probably more of a sassy black woman than you.
I'm like, ow.
No, we are a lot of gay culture is stolen from sassy black women. So thank you. But you go to these small towns and you do well and they're so receptive and stuff. But you're right. Is it because to them we're like a cartoon character? So
yeah.
It's like I don't mind it, but it's kind of like you're not earning their respect the way a straight white guy has to.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about it and I was like, because there could be numerous reasons why he said that. Because it could be like, oh, she's the only girl there, so if she's performing with a bunch of guys, she's got to be funny, sort of thing. It could be like that kind of thinking. But
I always get excited when a girl's on the lineup. My favorite comedians are women; they always have been, and so I'm glad to see so many more women are getting an opportunity. Which is why I came up with Ice Queens. Yeah.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that show.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
We're doing an all-female show at Yuck Yucks on February 10th, God willing, called Ice Queens.
God willing.
So every winter I do this show where I'm the host. It's supposed to be a female show, but I had to get in there somehow, So I'm like the Andy Cohen. And I host this show, all females. And it's so much fun every year because you know what? Girl power, baby.
Yeah. Because I remember last year, I wasn't able to go. I can't remember why I wasn't able to go, but seeing it advertised and being like, oh, I wonder how you get to perform on that. I remember thinking that last year.
And here you are, canceled because of
Yeah.
lockdown.
Canceled. Yeah. Like, because of lockdown.
But no,
know?
hopefully we get to do it February 10th. I hope so. It's a lot of fun.
I hope
And yeah,
so.
I
That
don't
would
know
be
where
fun.
this thing about women aren't funny ever started. Some threatened man said that once and people ran with it because it ain't true.
No, no. I just remember like seeing something with Jerry Lewis, and I remember from that moment I hated Jerry Lewis. That he was like with his he used to have like a candy in his mouth all the time,
Yeah.
and he'd be like, women aren't funny. I don't have them on my shows because they're not funny.
Yeah, no.
I was like, you're not funny.
Yeah, it's the same thing that we were just talking about, like lumping all women into one category, like because he's gay, he's cute, because she's black, she's going to be hilarious, or women aren't fun. Give me a break, Jerry. It's 100% they were threatened.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, because why else? Why else make a sweeping statement like that? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, someone's feeling threatened. That's for sure.
Oh, please watch any Phyllis Diller clip, Joan Rivers, 100 times funnier than anything Jerry Lewis has ever said. Don't at me. But it's true, in my opinion.
Exactly. I'm gonna see if you have any comments in the or questions and or comments.
Not if they're about Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, exactly. And keep your Jerry Lewis comments to yourself, you know?
Actually, you could see Joan Rivers right here. I don't know if you can see. I didn't realize she's peeking out over this.
Oh, yes, I can see it right above the leaf.
She's on my fridge. Yeah, that's a signed picture that actually Howard Wagman gave me, him and his wife Tammy, because she'd signed up for an opener at the club before she died, and he left it there. He didn't want it. So all these years, it's been in the green room at Yuck Yucks, and they know how much I love Joan Rivers. So one year for my birthday, they framed it and gave it to me. So it's not my name on it, but I don't care. She touched it.
Yeah, she touched it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got some comments, and let's see. Yeah. Whoops.
That's us.
Yeah, that's Swift. Okay, here we go. So that was just people saying hi. So like Janelle saying hi.
Janelle, hi.
Marla Reed says hi. Dan Allaire is there.
Oh, we were talking about you, Dan.
And then Marla Reed says, happy between miss. How to greet people between Christmas and New Year's.
That's a good one.
And Dan says, ask Jesse about the church hall show we did.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I don't know why people keep asking me to be part of these shows I have no business being on for the government, at churches, like trying to get me to combust into flames. But yeah, no, Dan, it was actually fun, but Dan was putting on a show that was literally at a church for a bunch of church going folk. And he asked me, who else was on it? Was it me and might have been Kyle Browrig? Dan, I don't remember, but it was me, you, might have been Kyle. So he really loaded the gay on this show. And Dan was their favorite. Let's just put it that way. He could get away with the Mantown candle jokes. Some of the dick sucking, cum swallowing I was talking about, they didn't love so much. So you have to know your audience, and that's the thing.
You have to know your audience.
That was at a time before I'd done very many corporates. Now I have like a set that can pass for an audience like that I would probably have done. But at the time I was like, Dan, all I have is this filthy stuff. And he was like, go for it. And I did.
Did they laugh, or were they just like blink, blink?
There were some laughers, but it was a lot of the polite smiles. Like, I'm being a good audience member, but I'm really like wanting to die right now because I can't believe what's coming out of your mouth. That's the vibe I got, But, every once in a while in audiences like that, you see people who are loving it and you just focus on them because they're just loving how uncomfortable everybody is. And that makes it okay.
Yeah, that's true. So like, what are these corporate gigs? Like, did you do them before, or have you only done them virtually?
I mean, before I would get more like emceeing gigs. So it's more like an MC, but I'd sprinkle in jokes. But this corporate stuff has really just been Zoom holiday parties. They've come out of the woodwork, which I'm so thankful for because the girls got to eat. But
Yeah.
before this, I would shy away from going after any kind of corporate because you think you have to be squeaky clean, and my material's just not. But
Yeah,
after
mine too.
doing these, no. But I think that maybe we could get away with more than we give ourselves credit for, because some of the stuff that I felt was pushing the envelope in these corporate shows, they tell me after, like, that was fine. There's nothing to even worry about. So it's more just about, you know, you don't want to be abusive towards anybody or any community,
Right.
but if you're making fun of yourself, it's like you're protected. So that's what I learned.
Yeah. Because I did a show for my work, our work Christmas party, and they had wanted to they were planning like a holiday party over Zoom and everything, and they wanted to do like a talent show sort of thing. So I don't think there was a lot of like participation of people signing up to do stuff. And so I contacted the one of the organizers, and I said, you know, if you want, I said I could do a few minutes of like Christmas stand-up sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, will you? Oh my God, we didn't want to ask you, but and I was like, sure. So I did it. It went over pretty well. Like I've done it at Yuck Yucks, but I dirtied it up. I did it the way it was intended
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
Yuck Yucks, you know, and I kept it relatively clean. Well, I kept it pretty clean because I work with these people, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and they appreciated it, and they were laughing and everything. And I think I I think what helped is just that everyone's mind was open, you know, because yeah, a Zoom Christmas party isn't ideal, you know,
Yeah. Right.
especially when the year before we were like dancing on tables and stuff like that. But I don't know. I always see it as you know, trying to make the best out of a shitty situation
That's right.
sort of thing, and just trying to do something nice. So I was like, sure, I'll do it. And you know, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Like I enjoyed it more than I thought I would,
Good.
you
Good. Good.
know. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
The smart ones put it during work hours, because there's some that are like 7 p.m. on a Friday night. So now you have to sit all day on Zoom at work. Who wants to spend 7 p.m. on a Friday with these people? So I found the ones that were most receptive were like in mid-afternoon, just happy to
Yeah,
be there. Yeah.
exactly. Like ours was, I think, from noon to 3 or noon to 2, something like that, and it worked out well. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. You know what else I found help with those Zoom shows? And because who knows, we may be going to another year of this crap. So we might not be
exactly.
over them yet. But it helps to listen in like a few minutes before you're about to do your set or whatever. So then you can make reference to things they were talking about. I did that a few times, and those jokes, because, you know, they love when you make fun of their coworkers. So if like,
Yeah.
you know, Mary can't figure out how to do a screenshot and you reference that, they just die. So that
No,
really
it's
was a
true.
good, helpful tip if anybody needs one.
Yeah. It's true. That's very, very true. And like I was able to do that because I knew most of the people on the call because I work with them. It's
Yeah,
just
right.
like I haven't seen, you know, obviously we haven't seen each other since March,
Yeah.
but yeah, those like inside jokes that you can do because you're familiar
Yeah.
with the people went really well. I only gave I did give a disclaimer at the beginning because just in case people had their kids there, and I said it's clean, but I'll be dropping some Santa realness. So
Yeah.
if your kids still love Santa, you may not want them to listen to
Oh,
it. Because the last thing I need is like, you told my kid that Santa doesn't exist, or Santa's dead, or Santa's an asshole, or whatever. You called Santa an asshole, my 7-year-old heard it or something. You
oh
know,
my
so I gave a
God.
disclaimer that they might not want you might not want your kid to hear what I'm going to say about Santa. So
And did the disclaimer work? Do people leave their
it
kids
worked. Like
away?
people laughed. People laughed. Nobody said, "Oh yeah, my kid's gone," or "I sent my kid out of the room." So I don't know if that actually happened, but that got a pretty big laugh.
Well, maybe
A
that
pretty
would.
big
I'm
laugh.
going to remember that for next year. Threaten Santa Claus, because that'll get rid of the kids. Because I had some where they put out a disclaimer like, "Hey, heads up, this comedian's not squeaky clean. If you have kids in the room, you know, parental discretion, big time."
Mm-hmm.
I get on and there's like 2 kids, boop, boop, right on their parents' lap, like ready for the show. And then what am I supposed to do? It puts us in a very awkward spot.
Yeah,
I don't want to make
exactly.
anybody uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm about to get on and talk about having a child is the same thing as keeping cum as a pet, what do you want me? Like, now I got to cut that joke. So it was, I did not appreciate that. I do not want to entertain children.
Yeah, same. Yeah, because one of my things is like kids are gross. I'm
Yeah.
not eating. I'm not eating what Julie brought to the potluck because her kids help make it. Because kids are
Yeah.
gross, sort of thing.
Oh,
And
they're
the last thing I need is some kid going.
they are gross. And maybe we're just jealous. Like, why is nice skin wasted on the young? Where are you going looking so dewy, Aiden? The sandbox? Come here.
That's how I look so young. I suck the youth out
Ugh,
of babies and puppies. I just like
you're not supposed to give away our secrets, Simone.
I'll suck the youth out of whoever tries to challenge me on that.
I'll suck anything. It's been so
Same.
long in this pandemic. Oh my God. I think I've forgotten how, actually.
It's how it works.
One day.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Hopefully not too long. Hopefully that day's not too far away.
I don't know. Maybe being a stand-up is hurting our dating lives,
Maybe.
So many of us are painfully single. What's that about?
And the thing is, I started putting that I'm a stand-up in like dating profiles, and like the few dates that I've actually agreed to go on, it's been some guy say, "Oh, my friends think I'm really funny and that I should do stand-up. What do you think? How do I do it?" It's like find an open mic and go. That's all I can tell you. And like, yeah. But
there's no
I've been talking. No, there's no easy. You just have to go. You just have to write some stuff, find a place to perform it, and do it. That's pretty much it.
And you know something? Being funny at parties or at work is not the same thing. And you learn that pretty quickly too. Like, I mean, some of the best stand-ups are the grumpiest, most miserable people when you try to talk to them off stage, but on stage they come to life. So it's a very special thing.
It's true. It's true. It doesn't automatically translate.
No, but the only way you'll know is to try. Yeah.
But
so did you go on a date with that guy?
Well, the thing is, I was on the date that he said this. If he had said it before, I would have been like, but it was on the date. This was, the last date I went on before, like the last in-person date I went on before lockdown. And I was just sort of like,
you should have pulled the old, "Oh, you're so funny. Okay, tell me a joke."
Yeah, tell me a joke. Be funny.
Yeah. Don't you love when people say that? Tell me a joke. Oh, you're a comedian. Tell me a joke.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't work that way.
I usually have.
It's so uncomfortable when they do that.
It is. I usually have a few like in the can ready to go. Like, what's one of my hacky ones? Oh, I'll say something like, "What's the difference between being hungry or being horny?"
What?
Where you put the cucumber. And that usually shuts them up.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
Didn't know you're.
You got any cucumbers? Yeah.
Well, I blocked someone yesterday. I was talking to somebody. Well, texting.
Yeah.
I'd say for maybe a week or so, and like I was feeling kind of meh. I'm not sure. I don't know. And he wanted to get off the system and start texting. I didn't really want to give him my phone number to text. And I was like, I prefer if we just stay on this for a little bit longer. And he's like, well, I want to send you pictures and stuff like that. And I'm like, what kind of pictures? Because I may not want those pictures, sort of thing. He's like, no, nothing like that. So I gave him like, I have a throwaway dating email address. So I gave him that. And so I guess he messaged just to make sure it was valid and everything. And then he sent me a video of him walking on a treadmill, just staring. So imagine you're me, you're watching this video, I'm him walking on the treadmill like this.
And that's it? Not talking? Nothing?
Not talking. He didn't say hi, didn't say, hey, I'm just nothing. Just and I replied, I was like, that was weird. Like, why did you do that? Like, that was weird. And he's like, well, what's weird about it? I'm like, you didn't say anything. You're just staring into the camera. I didn't say like a psycho, but I said, you said nothing. You're just staring. And he's like, oh, it's just a regular video.
Oh,
And I
so
was
he
like, I
knew it
don't
was a
think this
video.
is,
I was about to say
yeah,
maybe he thought it was a selfie. And
no,
he
no,
really,
it was a video. He knew it was a video.
oh,
He
that's
knew it was a
weird.
video. I don't know if he was trying to be sexy and mysterious, but it was neither. And I was just, it was just so bizarre. And I was like, you know what? This isn't going to work. Good luck to you.
Seriously, that is weird.
It was very weird. It was very weird. And then, because with Gmail, if you block someone, they put the messages in spam, or they put in like a
Oh, okay.
spam folder or something.
Mhm.
So I had a few in there with just question marks. Like, where did you go? And I unmatched him on Hinge. It's just like question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude.
So that was Hinge. Are you on Tinder too?
I was,
Oh,
but I'm not on Tinder anymore.
I feel like there's a
I
story
uh
there.
I just I had been talking to some, like, in during the summer, I was talking to somebody on Tinder, and we had two virtual dates, so like FaceTime dates.
Yeah.
And the first FaceTime date, it was the day before I had one of my teeth cracked and I had to get it removed. And it was very, very painful. And so this date was like the day before the surgery. So I wasn't feeling it. And I told him, I
Right.
said, you know what, I can't talk for long. I have a broken tooth. I'm getting it removed. I'm in a lot of pain. He was like, no, no, it's okay. So I thought he was nice, but I didn't really feel any spark. And I was like, maybe it's because I'm in pain, sort of thing. So I was like, I'll give him yeah, I was like, maybe I was in pain and whatever. So he was very nice, and he like sent me a message like, I hope you're feeling better and stuff like that. And then I was like, let me just see. So I said, would you like to have another FaceTime date? And he's like, yes, yes, yes. So I was like, okay. So we did one the following week. I was still a little swollen, but I felt a lot better. And it was okay. I was still like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. And then he started doing that thing, oh, we should do this and we should do that, and let's do this and let's do that. And I was like, okay, let's do that. And then he's like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, look,
Yeah.
no. You either want to do something or you don't. None of this bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know, like,
Wishy-washy.
you wishy-washy thing. So I just stopped it right there,
I agree with you. That's my problem with online dating is it's like shit or get off the pot. I don't want to
Yeah,
just chat for 2 weeks. I don't want to get necessarily together and hook up the minute we meet either, but I feel
right.
like you can only gauge that chemistry in person. And so all these, in fact, we had a study on the podcast about this, how people could do FaceTime dates so you're blue in the face. You can't gauge that chemistry. You
No,
can't
no,
until you're in
because you're
person.
not in the same room. Exactly. You're not face to
Yeah.
face in person.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
All you can do is just see, you know, you can see, oh yeah, he's cute or whatever, or nice smile or whatever it is, but you can't really connect.
No, you can't. So
Yeah. So it just, yeah, I, I, I don't like online dating.
me neither.
I
But the
don't
reason I asked you about Tinder is because I'm curious if this is the same for straight women, is that you just get a bunch of matches and then nobody says anything.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. Or you get hi.
Yeah,
Hi, how are you?
and I'll admit I'm just as guilty. I don't always send the first message, but it's just like this seems to be a phenomenon. It's like just
Yeah,
nobody answers
no,
you.
it happens. I get lots of matches,
Yeah.
but nobody says anything. And it could be like, let's say a guy like likes a picture or matches with me, like swipes right on me and I've swiped on him. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a mutual thing. And I would say hi, nothing. Or if
Yeah.
he says hi to me first and hey, how's it going? Nothing. And it's like, was he a bot? Like, what happened?
Yeah, like why
Yeah.
did you swipe?
Why did you swipe? Exactly. Why did you
Yeah.
swipe? Although I suspect some guys swipe on everything, swipe on everyone,
I've seen
which,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I've heard of that. So that it could be that, but I have yet to have like a mutual thing, because it's either been like we've swiped both and I've been like, I don't know.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel I fare better in person anyway.
I
You
agree.
know,
I think so too. And I think we're lucky for being that way because you don't want to be like a Kardashian where you look great in all your pictures and then in person you not so much. Bad
just
example.
because.
Kardashians are beautiful in person and pictures.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always fared better in person than back and forth on an app sort of thing.
Yeah, like,
And yeah, it's just
and you're right. People
I
need to
don't.
get more creative. Hi, how are you? Like, say something interesting. Ask my opinion on something. Like,
Yeah,
start a
or ask a
conversation.
question about, like, say I have pictures up there. Ask a question about something on my profile or something.
Yeah.
You know. And
God.
then when I don't know if it's the same for you. You can have everything spelled out in detail on your profile, and they're like, "So tell me about yourself." Did you not read? Bitch, it's all there.
Yeah. Which even then can feel awkward. Like, what do you want to know? I enjoy,
Yeah,
reading.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's like I'm a very nuanced person. Like, what do you want to
yes,
know? There's so much, yeah, there's so much I could tell you, but yeah,
that's
but
it.
yeah, it's just it's also it's awkward. I've always found it awkward, you
Yeah,
know.
me
So
too. And that's just two of them. Don't even get me started on Grinder. You open that and you just get hit with dick pics. You don't even get a face.
oh jeez.
Yeah. And I'm not that type either. I'm more like a girl. You have to treat
Yeah,
me
because I'm
right.
not I'm yeah, treat me right, because I'm not a fan of the dick pic at all,
I
you
mean,
know.
I've been wrong before. Like, I have been like on the fence about a guy, and then he'll send the dick pic, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, now I can picture everything. But usually it doesn't work that way. Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah, yeah. Because I want to know you before your
Yeah.
parts, sort of thing. Yeah, yeah. Because that happened to me right before. Because I think I went on one date, and then I was like had the potential of another date, and that got like nixed because we had been trying to figure out a time to meet, because I had been away, and when I came back, we were trying to figure out a date to meet up, and
Yeah.
so we were like, okay, this date, and he was a photographer, and he's like, okay, I've got an assignment, but I can meet you tonight. And I was like, sure, cool. um and he's like, I'm just gonna go take a shower. Do you want a preview? And I was like, no, I don't want a preview. I was like,
Yeah.
no, I don't. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, if you're gonna be a baby about it, maybe this isn't gonna work. And I was like, maybe it won't. I'd like to meet you first before I see your bits, sort of
Yeah.
thing. you know
What
so, but
happened
he
to the
called me a
excitement?
baby.
I can't believe
Yeah,
that. You'd think he would
he
just be
called
like,
me a
okay.
baby. So I'm like, it's a good thing I didn't meet him, because like, what was is he just gonna jump me? Like, I get out of my car and he's like, ah,
Yeah. Good
sort of
question. Or
thing. So
yeah,
I was
what
just,
if you weren't in the mood at the end of the date and he wanted it? Like, whoa, that's a scary
yeah,
thought. So
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. But like, he turned like that, and he was like, well, you don't have to be such a baby about it. Because I was like, no, that's okay. I said, I don't want to see, I don't want to see that. Like, I could see that in time, but I don't want to. I,
Yeah.
I I just don't want to. And then he called me a baby, and I was like,
That's crazy. What happened to
yeah,
the lost art of unwrapping the gift? Like,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So, oh my God. Yeah, too
Hey,
many.
Simone, I got something to show you.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to do it
Could you imagine?
like,
How is
yeah,
Louis
on
C.K.?
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Like,
You get more views, maybe,
maybe.
or less.
Oh my God. Because one of my friends posted a joke about he'll start an OnlyFans and collect money to keep his clothes on. So where people will pay him to stay dressed. And I'm like, I could do that too. I'll be able to retire tomorrow. If I did that. The threat of people, the threat of seeing me naked. They're like, no, no, like,
Oh, I don't
take
know.
all my money.
I think there's an audience there.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
That's been
Well,
another thing. OnlyFans in quarantine. All the gays are popping up on that. I've thought
I'd
about it.
never heard of it before quarantine. I'd never
Yeah.
heard of OnlyFans before. Because I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh, well, I think you could do anything on it, but I think it's a lot of sex work, I
Yeah.
suppose. I could
I
be
guess
wrong,
that's what's
but
for. But you're right. You can
yeah.
do, I know a woman that has a very successful account. People pay her. All she does is cook naked, but she's wearing an apron. So you don't see anything, but she's hot and
Okay.
has tattoos. And so people pay to watch her cook in an apron. So it's still perverted, but you're not seeing anything and it's not porn.
Mhm.
So more power to
Yeah,
her.
she's just cooking. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'd never heard of it before the summer,
Yeah.
so I thought it was something that had just popped up recently, and it's like, no, it's been around for a few
Wow.
years. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's new.
Zoom's been around a few years too, but man, this year's been good for them.
Oh yeah, Zoom stock and Lysol stock,
OnlyFans stuff.
OnlyFans stock, everything, all these things went up.
Yeah.
All these things went up. As green backgrounds and stuff too.
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah.
know?
I couldn't figure that out. I got my green plant. I saw on the Today Show, they're like, if you're gonna on a Zoom call, put a plant in the background. It looks nice. And you got
Yeah.
some too. Yeah.
They're not real though.
Oh, mine is.
They look real. I
They
kill
do.
plants. I can't keep a plant alive. Like I have a plant at my office, and I had to go to the office a couple of weeks ago because my internet just crashed and it was out for a couple of days. So I went into the office to work, which was very creepy because there was nobody there. And the little plant that I had that was like struggling while I was there is like a 3-foot tree now. So I'm like, it's me, because the tree is thriving. It hasn't
I
been
like
watered
that.
in 9 months, but it's beautiful. It's gigantic. It's like double the size that
I
it
wonder,
was. It was beautiful.
was somebody watering it? Was there like a janitor?
I think I think the like the
Maintenance.
custodians who like clean the offices and stuff. Obviously, they're not doing it every day because there's nobody there, but they might pass by once a week or something. So I'm assuming somebody has been watering it because
Oh.
otherwise it should be dead.
Yeah, that's kind of a
It
mystery.
should be dead.
But I
it's
like that.
It's huge. It's beautiful.
It's like you
And
hear about how nature always finds a way and nature will reclaim the land. Like, that's cool.
and heal itself. It did. And my
Yeah.
manager was like, "Did you bring it home?" I'm like, "No, it'll die within like 3 days if I bring it home. I'm leaving it there where it's safe.
Yeah.
It's safe.
Thriving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's thriving. It was so beautiful, and I was like, "It's definitely me then. Like, I'm the plant killer.
Yeah.
My negative energy, killing my plant killing energy."
Maybe that's why you can't get a date.
Yeah, maybe. It's like suck the life out of the room. The joy.
We talked a
That's
lot about
probably it.
sucking on this little episode.
Yeah, a lot of sucking in this episode.
I like it.
So is there anything that you'd like to promote or bring awareness to before we sign off?
Well, I'm available for Zoom shows. I don't,
Same.
yeah, aren't we all? Our podcast is a really good time. We just found out we were nominated again by Faces Magazine. Woo!
Yay!
You know, you made it
Congratulations.
big then. Yeah. So,
Your podcast is very funny. I love it. I
oh,
love
thank
it.
you, Simone. Yeah, it's a good time. It's very naughty and inappropriate. Jesse and Jenna's Messy Podcast. Definitely not for the faint of heart. So we love it. I mean, because, we started on traditional radio where there was a lot of rules and can't say this, can't do that. So we just totally went to the other end of the spectrum with the podcast and people seem to be responding well. So having a great time with that. So I'd love it if everybody gives it a chance.
Good. And where they can find it wherever you can find
Anywhere you get
podcasts?
podcasts, YouTube, messypodcast.com is our website, but it's called Jesse and Jenna's Messy Podcast. Or even if you just search Messy Podcast, it comes up. So,
Oh, great.
yeah.
Yeah, listen to it. Go check it out. It's hilarious. It's very, very funny. I enjoy it. I haven't listened to any podcasts the last week, but that's what I usually listen to when I'm working. So it's a good time.
Oh, thank you. There's another podcast that I have nothing to do with, but I just discovered it and I am hooked. It's called How I Survived, and it's based in. Have you heard it?
I've heard of that.
It's crazy. The Australian lady. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's like all these stories of like people who should not have survived, like
Oh my God.
incidents, like plane crashes or animal attacks or whatever it is. That they had no business surviving, and they did.
It's amazing.
It's
Used to be a
amazing.
TV show on A&E called I Survived. Maybe you remember that too, where it would be people talking about it. It's the same thing, but it's not the same show, but it's the same idea. And I'm just hooked. I get nonstop shivers that the whole podcast. So start with mine, more importantly, but that's a good second. If you're like,
Yeah, I listen to a lot of crime podcasts too. So
yeah. Oh, it's a good one.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. This was a lot of fun. This
It
was a
was
lot of
Simone
fun.
Holder. Thank you for having me. And hopefully we'll see you February 10th for Ice Queens 2. Simone's on the lineup.
Hopefully, that would be amazing. So hopefully we can get through this. Are we down for 28 days or 14? 28 most likely,
28, yeah.
At least. So hopefully after 28, we can, go back out in public, but we'll see. Stay safe. Wash your hands, wear your mask.
Yeah. We'll wait to hear from good old Doug, Daddy Doug.
Yeah, Daddy Doug. He has to say. Exactly. And so happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Simone.
Happy New Year. Don't let the murder hornets get you, because they can still come. It's because it's still 20 until midnight on the 31st or March 307th, whichever one.
Yeah, right.
They can still come.
And if not murder hornets, keep an eye for raining men, because
For
now
Raining Men.
we jinx that. Yeah. If we're lucky.
If we're lucky. I know. What's the line? I'm gonna go outside, let myself get absolutely soaking wet.
Yeah. Hey, I'm thinking maybe it's not the physical bodies that is the raining part. I'm just seeing the song in a whole new light now.
Yeah.
Okay, it all makes sense.
But I know the first time I heard the song, I didn't understand it, but now I do.
Yeah.
I think I get it now.
Problem solvers.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So stay safe, and we'll talk soon.
Bye, Simone.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you.